The Prime Minister described antibody tests as game-changing. Is that still the government's position? And if so, when can we expect to see their game-changing potential actually deployed in this epidemic? And how are you going to prioritise those? Will they go straight to care homes or frontline healthcare care workers first?
I think it's very exciting that there's a very, very reliable, possibly even 100% reliable antibody test. That's the test, of course, that shows whether or not you've actually had coronavirus in the past rather than currently, and have therefore developed the antibodies. It's very good news, particularly if it transpires that this makes you immune, at least for a period, from getting coronavirus again.
You're absolutely right. We have been waiting for a really good antibody test to be ready. There are now at least 2 available. One of those has received its CE mark on the 28th of April, the Roche test. It has been validated by Public Health England on the 7th of May, and I anticipate that it will be rapidly rolled out in the days and weeks to come, as soon as it is practical to do so. I also anticipate that the focus will be on the National Health Service and on carers in the first instance. The chances of a false positive are extremely low with this test. And I'm sure you can understand that if we had used a test where it was possible of giving a false positive result and therefore saying to people you have antibodies to COVID-19 when in fact you don't, that would have been very undesirable indeed. So absolutely this is a good test that will stand us in good stead moving forwards. One of the things that we've needed to know is, after infection and recovery, whether there is an antibody response, and it's clear that in most cases there is. But you can't just apply this test. You have to wait at least 14 days, preferably 28 days after the infection, in order to be sure to pick up the antibodies if they are there. It's going to take us time to understand whether the antibodies in all cases protect against infection. And you can't speed up the answer to that. You have to carefully study people who've recovered, people who you know have got antibodies, and follow them and track them and see if they become reinfected. And over time, hopefully, you get the answer that they're not. But that is data that has to be gathered over time. The final science question is, how long into the future do the antibodies last for? It is not automatic that by any means that these are going to be lifelong. We just don't know. We'll have to take people with antibodies and measure them over time to understand how long the antibodies stay in the body. But the good news is we do now have antibody tests that we absolutely can rely on.